Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Keely Henninger. It's a couple days before the 2023 Western States Endurance Run. Here we are again at Olympic Valley.
Yep, I'm so excited to be back this year.
This is your third Western States. Is it fair to say you've developed a relationship with the race?
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like after last year's race and even after the year before that's race, every single year I've wanted to come back. So it's like my first 100, I thought I would end and be like, never again. And I actually ended and was like, I'm for sure coming back. And that's the first race of that distance of like any magnitude where I actually wanted to do it again.
To recap, in 2021, you came for the first time, finished ninth.
Yep.
You rode that F9 ticket back last year. It seemed like you came back more focused, more prepared, more ready to go, but you sprained an ankle. Is that right?
Yeah, at mile 10, I twisted an ankle.
10.
Yeah, so I twisted it at mile 10 and it felt okay. But then as I kept running on it, it slowly got a little bit more and more sore. And I was still able to run. So I was like optimistic. I'm like, okay, when I get to Michigan Bluff, I'm going to tighten my shoe and figure it out. And then going down into El Dorado Canyon on like a mile from the bottom on those like kind of technical leaf covered switchbacks, I sprained it again, like really bad and kind of fell off the trail. And then from that point on was just like jarring pain on every single step. And it ended up tearing like the deltoid and spring ligaments, like the medial ligaments. Which like I've sprained my ankle enough to know when it's a sprain versus worse. And everyone was like, oh, it's probably a sprain. It's fine. And I was like, I can't load it. And a sprain you can normally load.
So you thought it might have been broken.
I did. I was worried that, well, I was worried it was either a torn or like maybe the talus got fractured or something like that. Because I think one thing that's easy to forget in this sport is that running 40 miles on a sprained ankle is very not normal. And so who knows what that does? And then spraining it a second time, like I don't know what that did. And so it clearly put it over the edge. And yeah, hiking out of El Dorado Canyon, which is probably my favorite part of the course, was so sad. Because I was like, no, this is where I like to run, this part, and this part's fast hiking, and it's just like a shuffle walk up. So
to get to your crew and drop from the race.
Yep.
And so you had to drop from the race last year and you wanted back in. So to do that, you went to Black Canyon in February.
Yeah. So I chose Black Canyon so that I gave my ankle a ton of time to recover because I actually had to do no running for over 2 months from this injury. And so, yeah, I just wanted to buffer it as much as I could. And Black Canyon, I'd ran back in 2017 as a little baby runner, the 60K. And I had a great time there. But I knew that those trails were really fun. I love the desert. I knew it was like good prep for States because it's like fast and hot and you just kind of get to practice everything you want to do at States. And so, yeah, I decided to go back to that one and knew it was something that I just would have fun with. And yeah, it was a great day. It was super fun to just be back out there. And yeah, I actually ran through my like 60K splits way faster than when I ran and won the 60K back in 2017.
You were a baby runner.
Yep. So pretty cool.
Things change, people evolve.
Yep, exactly. Oh my gosh. Things I could tell my former self. That would be great.
Wish we could rewind and redo things here and there, like maybe that ankle roll in 2022, right? So I felt like last year you were fairly focused, like specifically preparing for this race, but it feels like, at least from watching your socials, that perhaps you're even more focused this year. What do you think?
I would say yes and no. I would say I'm more focused in the sense that I've learned even more from last year of things to focus on. And so it's really easy for me to try to perfect these things that I just kind of neglected last year. But I'd say I'm less focused from the sense that I've filled my calendar this year with a lot of other things. And having those other things that give you like so much passion and so much joy, I think help you with your running, but also take some of the pressure off, which is really fun. And so while I'm taking it super seriously and like studying the course and doing all of these things that maybe I didn't do last year or didn't think were as important last year, I'm also keeping like a level head by just like filling time with these other things as well.
Yeah, like side note, you're getting married. Congratulations. And considering, another like education venue.
Yeah, so I actually planned out my whole like season banking on Black Canyon.
This has to work.
I was like, okay, I'm going to train hard for Black Canyon. And then after Black Canyon, I cut my mileage by 50% for 6 weeks and studied so hard for the MCAT. Took the MCAT and then
passed
the MCAT and then pivoted completely to training again. So it was I think a really good way for me to not overdo it, because I think going from February 12th till June 24th, that's a really long stretch of training. And just knowing myself and like my eagerness for this race, it was good to have like a little pause.
Force yourself to have a break.
Yeah.
Use your brain more and your body a little less.
Exactly.
You were just saying off camera that you're kind of a local. You've been living here for about 2 months. Is that right?
Yeah. I came out very early May. I got engaged in Napa on our way down, and then have been here ever since, living between Tahoe City and now Olympic Valley. And just, exploring the course, exploring the trails around here, and just feeling like a local. Like, the community around here is amazing. I totally get the Tahoe vibe. Like, if I could choose to live here full time, I think I would definitely, it would be high on my list.
You've seen like this area fully change from winter to spring, and I don't know if we could call this early summer at this point here.
Still spring.
What's it been like to watch that happen?
It definitely, I never knew how fast snow melted, but the first place I stayed in Tahoe City, the loop that I normally would walk my dogs on had like 5 feet of snow. The full loop. And within 2 weeks, it was gone. And so just seeing it all melt, and like looking up every day at the mountain and seeing how much that has melted, it's been really, really cool to witness. And then, I mean, the course, I think, has even changed from last year because of the fires even. So it's like, there's this whole new dimension to the whole course. Like, you've seen these changing seasons. You've seen Auburn with green instead of brown.
It's gonna be beautiful there.
Yeah, it's just been really cool to be here and see all of the changing seasons and just everything that's different. So
you said before that you have spent some time thinking about and focusing on the stuff that you, for this race, that you didn't focus on or give attention to last year. What's an example of that?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest one I've been working on is my mindset. Yeah, which maybe sounds cliche, but I'd say like it's probably the most important part of running one of these races is you need to be really dialed into what's good for you. And I think last year I let that get away from me a little bit. I think I went in with really good training, but I think I kind of started racing another race and not my own race because I wasn't as confident in my own race that I needed to be. And I think, from that injury, that really like made me look in the mirror and figure out some more problems, right? And just like kind of have hard discussions with myself. And then going into Black Canyon, I was working a lot with like my therapist to just really trust my training. And there were a couple times at Black Canyon where I didn't, and it resulted in like a fall or a twisted ankle.
Oh, is that right? Where you let yourself
and where I let myself get too caught up into someone else's race, where I would catch someone and think I needed to pass them right away. Or I would like think, oh man, I'm not running fast enough. I need to speed up right now. And those 2 times I did something really silly. And then the 2 times where I was like, oh man, I just don't know if this is fast enough, I would round a corner and be right with the leaders. And so I was like, I need to trust what I'm doing is enough. And finally by 60K, I was like fully on board with that. And that was the first race where I've ever felt that way, where I was getting passed and passing and being passed and passing for the next 20 miles.
Yeah, all the way.
And I didn't care. And it was crazy. It was so much fun. But like to have that sense of like confidence in your own running, to know that like, okay, right now, if they're passing me, I'm not going to go with them, is really fun and really powerful, and will be so important for states because it's stacked and there's gonna be people jockeying the whole time.
How do you, so it's a number of the women who were in the race last year are not back, but a number of the women who did finish in the top 10 are. But then there's this densely packed group of people who've won golden tickets and a couple who got really lucky in the lottery. And just like the competition in the women's race is just so rapidly escalating. Like, what are you envisioning that we're going to see there on Saturday?
I mean, yeah, first of all, the women's field in general in trail running is so exciting, right? Because it's just growing so fast, and like to think that we haven't even reached the ceiling of our potential is really cool, because we're only going to grow as more people get in the sport and push us, right? And so, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that on Saturday. I think it's going to be like a relatively fast year, but I still do think it's going to favor like the strategic minded and the people who are taking care of themselves. But I think like I wouldn't be shocked, I keep telling people this, if we were racing at mile 90. And you were like worried about people ahead and behind you. But like it's not done yet at all. Like I could see that happening, and that is really exciting to me.
Last question for you. Like, you don't need to give away your whole race plan, but like if you could just like take us for a minute to like a perfect moment or a perfect hour, a perfect feeling on Saturday, like paint that picture for us.
Yeah, I would say like my whole mantra for this race is just being very calm and staying very steady and not trying to run outside of my comfort zone. Like staying really calm, especially when you're in that first 50K section where we don't know what we're getting into. Like I don't,
adventure.
yeah, it's going to be an adventure, and just having the flexibility of the mind to be okay with that and not like checking your watch, checking where you are, just rolling with the punches for that first 50K, and knowing if you do actually roll with them and treat yourself well and get there feeling good, then you can race the last 100K. And the last 100K is like where you get to like show your strength and run really smooth and run all of the best sections of the course. Not that the top 50K is not the best, but you know, it's like the beginning of the race, so it's like it's always a little slower, and you get to be a little more sendy and run on those nice like smooth single tracks towards the end. So yeah,
staying calm.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you on Saturday. Enjoy the trip.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be a blast.